I would like to welcome Debbie and Ben Conroy to the Amani Experience Podcast.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
We are doing well. We do a geographical check-in when we start. So right now I'm here in Redondo Beach. Where are you two located?
Riverside, California.
Riverside. And where did you both grow up?
We actually both grew up in Placentia, California, like on the other side, the
Opposite
north side
sides
of the track, as we say. And we actually went to the same high school for a year, but we weren't really friends, and we actually met after high school. So,
Okay.
So I grew up on the south side. She grew up on the north side of Placentia, and so we eventually found each other.
Got it. Lovely. And explain to the listeners and viewers what you used to do before you got into your current business. What's your previous line of work?
So I was doing accounting for about 18 years. And until we got into being this creative mode that we are in now.
I've had many jobs. Most recently, I'm a sound engineer for live radio broadcasts, sports, television, stuff like that, radio stations. And I currently do that, but because of the COVID-19 situation we're in, everything's shut down. So I'm now focusing all my attention on this passion of ours, which is this new Condrosa Creations wood shop that we started, and it's great.
Okay, so I'm curious, Debbie, what inspires you to give up an 18-year career with accounting to pursue this?
Well, it was kind of decided for me since I unexpectedly lost my job.
Okay.
And therefore, I was kind of like, what am I going to do now? We're basically have a one part-time salary family now, and we was depressed and sad and didn't kind of know what to do. And one night after that, Ben basically was like, let's just make something, and to get our mind off it. So we turned our mind into this creative focus, and we ended up making a Santa, and we kind of
it's right back there somewhere.
Yeah. And
Cool.
Our friend came over the next day after we had made it, and she's like, you guys should really sell those. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, I want to buy 3. And we laughed, and she's like, no, seriously, I want to buy 3. And we're like, oh. So we just kind of were like, let's try this, while I'm trying to get back into accounting, or hopefully I don't have to get back into accounting if this goes, big somehow.
Yeah. And so the follow-up question is, as you decided to go for it, what kind of fears, what was kind of some of your inhibitions to go for it?
Well, definitely it's been, something totally different, something that's, more creative focused than being, all numbers and stuff like that. This is a different total part of my brain now that it's can let out, I guess. So the fears is that, that this won't work out and that I actually have to go back into corporate world. And, just to try to get noticed out in.
Yeah, I mean, I think just the idea of being successful, trying to be successful, and staying in a successful, staying in a creative element, and staying in a creative lane, basically, and hopefully that allows us to do this full time and make money at it.
Yeah.
What kind of skills did you have to learn to kind of get good at it, where people started to want to buy your products?
I think we're pretty good at the creativity and like designing signs and whatnot. I think it's more about getting your name out there and advertising and stuff like that. So we kind of are still learning that side of the business, and trying to get noticed and whatnot.
I think it's just in general. I mean, we've always been crafty. We've always worked with wood and, doing stuff. I've worked with, building my whole life, basically, with my family, my brother, her dad was a big part of that.
Yeah.
And so, honing our skills in the workshop has definitely been something that we've been doing over the last, 3 months. Not that we didn't know what we were doing beforehand, but it's definitely trying to figure out the best, easiest process and how to do these things that we're doing, such as signs, cutting boards, things like that.
Good, good. And by getting your name out there, what are some unique ways you've used maybe social media or marketing to kind of spread the word about what you have to offer?
We've started a social campaign right out of the gate. Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
TikTok, Twitter now. But just basically trying to be creative and trying to use whatever little videos and pictures, creative things like that to basically just help get our name out there. And we've had some really cool people following us, and it's the
Hey,
what's up, Melody?
Yeah,
So it's been a lot of fun, but obviously we're still learning that side of the business, and we're trying to get better. We're taking a lot of cues from Melody and her awesome posts that she does.
Yeah.
We're going to try and step up our game that way, but definitely just trying to be active on it as much as possible.
I think what helps also is that, like we kind of have some key players that live like knows that we do great work and whatnot. And so they they go to us first now. They're just like, they say, can you make this? Okay, yeah, we'll try to make that. And we do it. And Melody is one of those people that has said, we want this. Can you make it? And we're like, yeah, we can make it.
Always say yes.
Yes, always say yes and figure it out later. So, my mom is one of those people too that needs like a gift for something. Can you make this? Sure, we can make that, and so that's we've kind of gotten people like that. And it's like, they come to us first now. Oh, I need a gift for my mom. What about this? And so, that's has really helped too. And hopefully that will, one person will tell another person and,
Yeah. Awesome. Now, where you are right now, how would you summarize yourself in maybe 30 seconds or less?
I think basically we're a multi-generational woodworking company out of Riverside, California, and we, pride ourselves in customer service and working with our customers to create the most beautiful creations we can possibly create. And we're basically a very passionate duo that has found their, way of life, their new way of life, basically. And this is what we're going to do. And if people aren't buying them, we're just going to have a garage full of signs and cutting boards because we ain't stopping.
There you go. Now, I'm really curious to hear both your interests, because as a creative professional, what do you think is important for us, to succeed in today's business environment, and including kind of what we're going through now with COVID-19?
I think it's really, put your face out there and don't be afraid to fail, basically. If you don't ever try, that you're never going to know if you're going to be successful.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of trying to be creative especially in this situation, since, everybody's at home, everybody's linked to their phones, to their computers, to their, anything like that. Social media is very important right now, trying to get your name out there, trying to be creative, trying to, rise above all the other people who are trying to be creative. So, it's just a matter of, I think social media is going to be a big part of that, and especially at this time. It's just what you can do to try and stand out is what's important, and be true to yourself, try and stay true to your passion and your what you think is important, and, just try and be as creative as possible.
Excellent. Speaking of social media, what's the one platform you feel like you're going to get the most kind of engagement and impact from for your business?
Right now, it's been Instagram, I think, for us. Facebook's been doing pretty well too, but Instagram seems like we got a lot. We're starting to connect with other woodworkers and connect with other people. What's up, Ken? These brothers chiming in. Instagram's been really good. I'm starting to like TikTok a lot because I like all these creative videos that people are doing, and I think we just posted another TikTok video. We just got a new branding iron for our stuff, and we just posted a new TikTok video, so go on there, Conroy Creations, check it out. We're gonna keep posting some fun stuff and fun videos, and try and raise our awareness that way.
Good.
Being on the Amani Experience can help us too.
Yeah,
there you go. Yes, a little PR will never hurt. Never hurt. When do you feel it's interesting because you're just starting out, but I still want to ask. I always ask people when the turning point to their career is. When did you maybe figure out that this was what you really wanted to go for, and you kind of said, let's take a leap and go for it?
I think it's funny is we've been talking about this for a few years now, because when her dad passed away 5 years ago, I kind of inherited all his tools, and brought them here to our garage, and have slowly but surely have started forcing it to become a workshop and less a garage. So, one saw comes in, another saw, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Bring this and bring that in." And I think it really, when she lost her job, it really it pushed us in the right direction.
Yeah,
and it gave us that nudge.
I kind of was thinking that, all of a sudden I just, my whole life I've been creative and whatnot. And I've actually been the one out of all of me and my brothers that have been had the normal job, and not in the creative field, because I have very creative brothers. But I feel like, when I lost my job, I just all of a sudden, thought, what if this was our calling? What if this, our dad being my inspiration, and, he always tried to have a side business and sell stuff, but, back then it wasn't really with all the internet and the social media. So it never really went anywhere. So it's what if we could be his voice kind of, and take his passion and kind of grow with it and make him proud of us, that what he never could have done. He had the 9 to 5, but he really wanted to do woodworking all the time.
Good. How long has it been since you left the accounting world?
Only since November.
Oh, good. So you're 5, 6 months in.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Cool.
So, I'm trying to still find a job, but obviously this is going on. So it's actually a blessing that happened, I think. Because once that happened, all the world has kind of gone crazy a little bit. So I'm actually really happy that I don't have to deal with that and stress about actually working. And now I could just focus on my family and do what we really like to do.
Good, good. What is it about woodworking? Why do you love it so much?
Honestly, it's the smell of it, man. It's
it is.
It's everything. I'm a very tactile person, I'm a drummer, and wood in my hand has always felt right. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but
it makes sense.
And it's just, prior to doing sound and doing all that stuff, I did construction and flooring and kitchen remodels with my older brother, Matt. And it's just always been a passion. It's always been just, when you walk on into a job and you can start with raw materials, and you can, at the end of the day of working hard, and you can stand back and look at something that you've created and hold it in your hands and be like, wow, this is what I've done, or look at it. I don't think there's anything better than that, to be honest with you. And not to, knock anybody else's love and profession out there, but creating and building and having something done and be able to look at it and be like, wow, that's where my 8 hours went. That's just something that I don't think you can beat.
Yeah.
Okay. If you both were to look at the artistic space, maybe in woodworking, maybe outside woodworking, who would be your dream collabo? Who would you really want to collaborate with?
Ooh, wow. There's so many beautiful,
yeah, we follow this hashtag cutting boards.
Okay.
These people are amazing. And I don't believe that a lot of them are big companies or anything. So it's just amazing that you could just create something so beautiful out of turning pieces of wood different ways.
And I think art and music kind of go hand in hand. So, I'd love to, in the future, maybe try and do some sort of art show, some sort of collab, music, art together. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of musician friends and stuff. So maybe some sort of, like I said, art, music festival together type of thing.
Yeah, we're a very musical family too.
So
good.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Right over there. What is something that scares you?
Failing.
not being recognized in a saturated space of incredible creators. And how do you get your name out there? And
lack of exposure.
And I think, like she said, we think back to when her dad was doing this and trying to, do his little side hustles and, sell things on the side. And you think that, how did people get recognized back then?
Yeah.
I mean, if you weren't sitting up at a flea market or a swap meet or something like that on a weekend where people were walking by, how are you going to get recognized? So we're really blessed to have the outlet of social media, to do that. But it's also word of mouth. It's also just, making one awesome thing and having that person tell one person and that person tell the next person. And, but yeah, fears are,
I mean, and I also think
important.
that is, and like the fear of having to actually go back into the corporate world, and so with all this uncertainty in the world and just hopefully trying to make this thing take off, and this could be our way of life.
Definitely. How have you been able to fight through the fear of failure and still keep moving forward and like making things and selling it and getting out there?
I think it's I don't think we have a choice, man. It's I mean, honestly, I feel kind of bad for my kids in the sense that, like, I love spending time with them, but when I wake up in the morning, like, I'm drawn to my workshop. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's tough to manage everything as far as spending enough time with them, spending enough time doing that, spending enough time, cutting wood, sanding wood, but it's a fun thing to try and manage, you know what I mean? And it's like I said, I don't think we have a choice really.
Yeah. And I think that we've just decided that, even though people aren't buying things right away or whatnot, we're not going to just stop like designing things. We're just going to keep making things until people buy them, and until we run out of creative ideas, which I don't think is going to happen, anytime soon. But, and it's cool because, everything we have is like a physical thing that's not going to like go bad, so we'll just have these signs till people buy them, and we figured that if we can't sell things in like the online space, then we can go to the market,
Yeah, we're gonna try craft shows. We're gonna try
if and when they start opening again.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Now the woodworking space is very, very crowded. What do you do, or how do you kind of rise above all the noise, as you spoke about, and distinguish yourself from the competition?
I think quality of workmanship and craftsmanship, as well as customer service. Being able to deal with, we try and deal with people firsthand, like talk to them. Debbie does a really good job text messaging people and staying in contact with them, and like she'll work with you until she gets the design correctly, correct. Yeah, I think it's just being creative and trying to, I know we keep going back to that, but that's kind of really what it is. I mean, it's just trying to figure out the best way to market yourself and, fun videos, but the work really speaks for itself, I think. If you're creating quality materials and quality products, I think people will find you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Agreed.
We hope.
How has a failure or an apparent failure set you up for later success? Do you have a favorite failure of yours?
I think we're really new as a business, so we don't really have failures per se yet. I mean, maybe we've had some design failures that has actually come out better than we originally hoped.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there really is such a thing as failure because, every time quote, fail, you're actually learning something. So if you're not learning out of something that you're, trying or failing at supposedly, then, you're not doing a good job.
Yeah. And that's the other thing about failures. Like she was saying, we've had some design stuff like cutting boards that we've tried that we ended up, either messing up or, some little design aspect was wrong and we've changed it. And wow, look at this. We've created something completely different that we didn't expect. But yeah, like she said, we're so new. I'm sure there will be failures coming up down the road. Everybody does. But as of right now, we're just trying to take everything and use it as a learning lesson to make things better.
For sure, because I feel like anytime we fail, it's like, oh, we learned something new.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, those who fail to learn from their mistakes fail more, something like that. I don't know how that goes, but something like that.
We got you, definitely. As you maybe currently acquire more success and press, and in the future you will acquire even more, how do you handle your critics? How do you plan on handling your critics?
I just think we'll take it all to heart, because we have to listen to them, because if we don't listen to the critics, then we don't know what we can improve on. So I take anything that people want to tell me and use it to our benefit, because if someone is not happy with something, then you want to fix it and make it better.
Yeah, I honestly, I look forward to hearing people's feedback. You know what I mean? Like I want to hear what people have to say. I want to hear, if they're not happy, please tell me so we can fix it, or we can, improve our designs and make them better. I have a thread, a text thread with a bunch of my friends that I've created, a build thread. And it basically is all my stuff. I keep posting, sharing. Might be a little bit of an overshare, but what's great is they're like my own focus group. You know what I mean? Like I put up a cutting board, and they come back with, oh, it'll be great, juice groove, or handles on the side, or that needs feet, or you know what I mean? Like, and so I like to use that as a way to, it's like I said, a focus group. It's a way to therefore, better our creations in the future.
Yeah. Many times it helps business owners to recognize, and potential business owners to recognize, that there are some valleys amongst all the peaks as well. So I'm curious if you could tell us about the darkest time of your life, how you got through that, and what did you learn from that experience?
Well, I think, obviously it was losing my job at this point, and just having to deal with that, and then trying to change our focus into something creative and more aspiring, I guess. I think also, like, when my dad died, I mean, it wasn't when we were starting our business, but he kind of was sick his whole life, but then died like unexpectedly, which I know doesn't make sense. But it kind of like threw a wrench in everybody's lives. And I think my mom handled it really well, but we've been having to help her. So I think, just that was kind of a really dark time in our lives. Right. And now that was actually 5 years yesterday. So
wow. Okay, sorry to hear about that.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, but that was definitely, I think from the darkness, we've now seen the light, you know what I mean? Which is what's great, the passion that Alan, her dad, had for wood and for carving and for building definitely inspired Debbie throughout her lifetime. And the 18 years ago or 19 years ago now,
almost
19 almost, that I met Alan, and really he basically just brought me into the fold, and was like, look, I'm building, you're building, you're going to help me. So I think that aspect has really helped fuel this whole thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's great.
My brothers have always been creative. So, I have one, he's the internet star and creative videos, and one is musician on Broadway. So my dad kind of was like, oh, cool. Here's the guy that likes woodworking and tools. Sorry, Jeff and Kent. But, they kind of had that in common and bonded over that as well, So he was lucky enough to have, almost 15 years, like, knowing him too. So it's just,
definitely think that was a tough part for us. But like I said, I think it's turned us around. So it's nice.
Many people shut down either when they lose a parent suddenly, like you did, or when they lose their job. How were you able to be resilient and not shut down?
We have 2 kids, so kind of have to just keep going forward and put a smile on our face and do day by day, and just kind of keep our focus that, we're just going to keep making stuff and being creative. And I think that's a big outlet for me and Ben too, because you know, we could just sit here every night watching TV or Netflix or whatever, and but instead we'll like work like all hours of the night in our shop now, and like we love it. Like we're just making things, and you know, it's just, I think it's kind of like a therapy in a way.
Yeah, I think it really did hit Debbie hard at the beginning. If we're gonna, you know, being honest, like I think it hit her pretty hard for like, you know, a week or two, but I think it just took, you know, that night of us picking ourselves up and trying to take our focus off, you know, the negative, and that's kind of what, you know, brought us back, you know what I mean, and got us out of that dark time, that funk, and since then it's just been, you know, it's been awesome. It's been great, and it's scary, but it's fun, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The fear will always be there. How do you keep your creative cup full and try to avoid getting burned out? Because many times as creatives, we get burned out as well. What are you doing to keep your creative cup full?
I mean, I think that we have changed focus a lot in our business. So like, you know, we make handmade signs and whatnot. So if you're not really feeling that creativeness, like, because I know at some points I'm like, oh, I want to create this kind of a sign, and I'm at the computer and I'm not feeling it. So I just kind of like maybe try to change focus to do something else, and you know, something else that needs to be done that's maybe not as creative or whatnot. And just to try to keep you going, you know? Yeah.
In all honesty, I mean, I'm 43 now, and I feel like honestly, I've had so much creativity in this area of my life pent up, and I haven't really got it out yet. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like it's gonna be a while before my cup's empty. Honestly, like I honestly feel like
he wakes up like, I want to do another kind of
it's a real drive and passion that I think is. We're so new at this too, you know what I mean? If we were already jaded and empty cups already after 5 months, I'd be really worried that we're choosing the wrong passion, you know what I mean? Like, or the wrong lane to be in. So
I'd be worried too. Who was the most influential person for you growing up?
I would probably say my family, my dad for sure, in the woodworking space. My mom actually was really, really creative as well. My dad had like the use of his hands and the woodworking and whatnot, but he wasn't as creative as maybe my mom. She's a good drawer and artist and whatnot, but she would kind of give my dad inspiration. So they were kind of a duo as well, even though he kind of got the recognition. So she was always kind of, you know, in the back being everybody's cheerleader, which, you know, she still is everybody's cheerleader. She's you know, like she's like the best mom ever. So I don't know. She's like a very big inspiration to me. You know, she always was working. She was a teacher, and then she went to, you know, work all the time, but yet kept the kids happy. And she always went to our things at school and was PTA president, you know, all these things. I don't know how she did it with 3 kids. And she was always like, yeah, I told you. I don't know. And we only have 2. So, you know, so it's just, she's a big inspiration. And, you know, when my dad died, she really stepped up and handled like finances and, you know, things that she wasn't even involved in. And she bought 2 cars and she sold 2 cars, you know, like all these things. And I was just, I'm just still amazed by her strength and, you know.
I'd have to say for me, it was probably my dad and, I mean, my family as well, but my dad was very artistic growing up. I mean, he was a good drawer and artist, and but it was always in the garage. You know what I mean? Like we were always doing stuff. He was always building pine wood derby cars for Boy Scouts, or he was, you know, doing you know, any type of woodworking, you know, or wood type of projects. It's you know, building around the house, and he had tools, and I always covet those tools, man. I wanted them so bad, you know, and I thought they were so cool. And he would catch me in the garage, you know, messing with his tools, and you know, what are you doing? And I'd be like hiding it behind my back, you know, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. And so I think he was always a big influence for me in like just being creative and using my hands and stuff. And then my older brother has been a big influence and a big inspiration as far as building. My mom's very crafty in that way too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, working with my brother, I learned a lot of using tools and how to use them correctly, and safety and stuff like that. So my brother, my dad, the big influences, I think.
Excellent. Now, what do you both find easy to do that your friends find hard to do?
Make things. Be creative in that sense. Like, I think even before we started this business, we've been like making things, and
we've always been kind of real crafty with our hands, and like it's not a creativity thing really necessarily. Our friends are really creative. We have like Melody's very creative, obviously. Her husband Adam, we have a lot of friends who are musicians who are very creative, and but I think when it comes to like this type of stuff, like woodworking and stuff like this, I think we're probably a little more willing to try and do things like this than maybe our friends are. I don't know, but we have a lot of creative friends, so I think different type of creatives.
Yeah, that helps. That helps for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What would you like to be better at?
Business part of it, and the marketing and stuff like that, and just that what goes into being a business. I know a lot of the finances and that part of it, but there's a lot more that goes into it. So we're still learning, and
I think it's just more about just marketing ourselves and figuring out the best way to market ourselves, and just in general, our skills in building, you know what I mean? Learning new techniques, learning new things, learning how to build new things, coming up with creative ideas to be the first to maybe do something, different that nobody's ever done before, maybe, something that, there's tons of people who are, like I said, there's amazing, talented makers out there in our space. And I as much as I look at it as competition, I also look at it as a master class. You know what I mean? Like I sit back and I am amazed by something that I see on somebody's thread, or I see on somebody's, posting a picture of something, and I'm just like, wow, how did they do that? And B, how can I learn how to do that? You know what I mean? Like, and unfortunately it's always like, babe, I need a new tool.
I love it. Yes.
Not even a joke.
I have 3 or 4 tools right now, Amani, that I want to buy that like I feel like will take us to the next level.
It's always that, but I just need this one more.
And you're like, hurry up and wait. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, when you were both turning 21, you were here, California, Southern California?
Yes.
All right, we're going to go back and talk to 20-year-old Debbie and Ben and give them advice based on what you know now. What advice would you give your younger self?
I would say to maybe save more money.
Yeah.
Be your own champion. Kind of, I feel like I'm always like trying to make people happy and laugh, and I'm always that person. But I feel like I am not as much my own cheerleader as I should be,
I think it would be just as much as I like to think of myself as a, jack of all trades, master of none, just because I know a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? I'm pretty good at every little thing I want to try and do, but I would tell myself, really become a master at something, you know what I mean? Really focus and learn and be the best at one thing. It's okay to be multi-versatile and be good at everything, but really focus and be the best at something. So that way you have something to fall back on, and, that can be, but it's always good to be well-rounded too. So it's kind of a,
yeah, I feel like
catch-22.
We're a pretty good duo, since like I've literally had like 4 jobs in 25 years, no break. I mean, until now, obviously. And then this one had like 35 jobs, knowing everything. So I feel like for our kids, like we're a really good, combination, because I could say I studied to have a good job and this, but he's like, but I've had and know everything from pizza to washing windows to doing tile. So
yeah, you got some good yin and yang there. I like it.
Yeah.
What is the one lesson in life that took you the longest to learn?
I mean, honestly, I mean, it's one of those things that I feel like I'm always learning. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm done, and I feel like I'm not. I married an accountant because I'm not the best with money. You know what I mean? I'm just be completely upfront. You know, what I mean, I like spending it and I like having it. I'm not the best at acquiring it and saving it, but that's why I married this one.
There you go.
But so I guess money, like managing my money, something like that. But I think just trying to be passionate and be and trying to be passionate, I guess.
I feel like it also is it takes you a long time to learn that time flies. Like really, like I feel like just trying to be in the moment and because you always can say, oh, another day, but that other day comes and goes and you're like, whoa, now it's another year. So I don't think you learn that until like you're older, because I remember when I was young, people would always say that to me, and now I'm the one saying it to people, so
also maybe don't sweat the small stuff as much growing up as you think that stuff's super important.
Oh yeah.
And it's not as important down the road when you get down the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Agree. 100%. Every great person has a sentence. What is your sentence? For example, my sentence is, I love to help people unlock their creativity by teaching them how to DJ. What is your sentence?
Go ahead.
My sentence would probably be, I just, want everybody to have fun around me and be happy. So, with my creativity and humor, I just, want the world to be a positive place.
Awesome.
Passionate, woodworking, music. These are all more like bullet points, but I don't really have a sentence, man. Just try and treat everybody the way you want to be treated, and be passionate about what makes you happy and what gets you going every morning.
That works. Now, what is one new habit you've added to your daily routine in the past year or so that has been most beneficial?
I think it's not really like a habit, but I feel like working in our workshop till like 3 a.m. every day is what our new habit has been. Because, during the day we can't get much done, so we just love it so much that we stay up super late, and so I mean, I don't know if it's a good habit or not, but it's definitely like a therapy for us. So
yeah, and just trying to be trying to stay not creative, not focused, just trying to stay busy, just stay working and stay doing stuff. Don't get complacent and don't get just being constantly moving.
Stay busy.
Stay busy.
I like that one. So we're really big readers here on the podcast. If there was 1, 2, or 3 books you would feel that people should stop what they're doing right now and start to read them immediately, what books come to mind?
Well, we're not huge readers over here. I mean, we read articles a lot about everything lately online. Ben, we read his
honestly,
tool manuals.
I was going to say, the last thing I read was probably the operational manual on my new planer I got. I do a lot. I'm more of a audio. I listen more.
Sure,
I don't read as much. I do a lot of podcasts, and I've been trying to do audiobooks sometimes.
Okay.
But yeah, mainly a lot of podcasts. I do listen to all different types, from woodworking podcasts to comedy stuff. Conan O'Brien's podcast is really funny. Dak Shepard's podcast is really funny.
Right. Yeah.
So I do a lot of podcasts. That's mainly where our focus is. And also we have a 4 and a 6-year-old.
Yeah, so we read a lot of kids books.
Kids books.
Kids books and a lot of stuff like that. But mainly like I need to do better at reading. But we spend our time.
All our time is
focused on other things right now.
Is there an audiobook that you listen to that comes to mind? That you
I like Malcolm Gladwell's new book.
Yes.
Talking
to Strangers, right?
Talking Strangers. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. But yeah, his new book is really good, and yeah, like that. That's a good one. But I do a lot of audio podcasts. Wandry has a lot of good stuff on their podcast stuff. But anyways, that's where we're at.
That's a good list. That's a good list. What has been the best advice you've ever received?
Ooh, wow.
I think it's just kind of go with the flow, this thinking back to having kids, when you first become a mom or you're pregnant or whatnot, everybody tells you, do this for your kid. You have to do this, or you have to, swaddle this way, or you have to do, I've just learned that, you just kind of have to go with the flow and go with whatever direction you need to go that works for you. So I don't know. I think that's a big advice. And I say that to new moms all the time, just because they're going to hear everything and the baby's going to be like, no, I'm doing it like this,
Yeah.
So I feel like, you just kind of have to let that go and just whatever works for you.
What's funny is my dad's one of those dads who always had a bunch of funny sayings and a bunch of different things that he would, kind of lay on you kind of thing. And, like funny ones that I remember, like, keep the shiny side up and the oily side down, we're talking about driving and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like just certain things like that. But, I think mainly, stay positive, you know what I mean? And stay above the negativity and realize that, life is short and you only have one trip around this moon or sun or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And,
life. Yes.
life. You have one time at it basically.
Yeah.
And so make the most of it and be positive and, stay positive.
Yeah. Yeah. Now more so than ever, for sure.
For sure.
Are you all sports fans at all?
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite teams?
Angels.
I'm the Angels, 49ers, Lakers, USC football.
Okay. Let's go down to the Coliseum, LA Coliseum.
All right.
And they're inviting Ben and Debbie out on the field. What song is playing as you both walk out to the field?
Joe Esposito, You're the Best.
Oh, yes, of Karate Kid fame.
That's right, bud.
That's right. Love it. Cool. Well, before I ask you the final question, tell everyone how they can find both your products, if they want to order from you, and follow you on like Instagram, TikTok. What are your handles?
We're Conderosa Creations on everything. So we actually have website www.conderosacreations.com, and Conderosa is CONDEROSA.
Got it. Yeah, so you can find us on all our handles there.
Facebook,
Instagram, TikTok, Etsy. We have an Etsy page that we'd like to, get everybody to go check out. We got a bunch of our creations on there. If you just go to the website, www.conderosacreations.com, it just takes you straight to the Etsy page and check out our stuff and, like it, love it, and take it home.
Good.
Go
ahead, keep going. What are you saying?
We just love to see where our creations go to live for their final homes,
Yes, me too. So before I ask you the final question, just want to say thank you very much for appearing on the show. Just the energy that you have and how excited you are about your new kind of business is really refreshing, because a lot of times I talk to people who have been through it many years, and that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Just the energy that you have and how excited you are is very refreshing. So
thank you.
Thank you very much. We let our guests leave us with any last minute words of wisdom or advice. So I'll say thanks again and let you take us home.
Thanks, Amani. Appreciate it.
All right.
Just be passionate, love what you're doing, and create. It's amazing what you can do to bring people happy, or bring smiles to people's faces by just doing the little thing that is something that might not be something that you find is important, but to them it could change their life. So.
And I feel like reach out to us if you don't have something that we don't like, or we don't carry something that you are not into. We'll create something that you love. That's what we're here for. We just have some of the designs that we've started, but we just want to create stuff for people to love.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, Amani.
Hold on 1 minute.